In 1999, the United States handed over complete control of the Panama Canal to Panama after nearly a century of American operation. Now, Trump wants it back, but his reasoning goes far beyond the sound bites you've heard. Today, we'll break down the three key factors driving this position: economic concerns about toll structures, strategic worries about Chinese influence, and historical arguments about treaty violations that could reshape U.S. foreign policy. The economic argument: tolls, profits, and American ships. So what's this claim about American ships paying unfair tolls to Panama? Let's look at how the canal actually operates financially. The Panama Canal Authority calculates fees using a formula that considers vessel type, cargo capacity, punctuality, and reservation timing. They don't factor in nationality whatsoever. American and Chinese container ships with identical specifications pay identical tolls. These fees are substantial. A medium-sized container ship paid approximately $280,000 for a single passage in 2023. Very large gas carriers faced even steeper costs, sometimes exceeding $500,000 per transit. The canal has become remarkably profitable for Panama. The authority reported $5 billion in revenue for 2024, with 70% classified as profit, an extraordinary margin for what functions as a public utility. More striking still, these profits have surged 131% over the past 5 years, indicating aggressive revenue maximization from this critical waterway. During recent drought conditions, Panama implemented transit restrictions and established an auction system. Shipping companies now pay millions in premiums to skip the line. It's like a toll booth on the only highway to your destination, suddenly charging 10 times the normal rate during rush hour. You either pay or face a much longer journey. Shipping companies continue paying these escalating tolls because the alternative is financially worse. Bypassing the Panama Canal means navigating around South America, adding 4,000 nautical miles to journeys. That detour costs approximately $1.4 million in additional fuel, making even the highest canal tolls seem relatively economical. This context reveals where Trump's economic argument gains traction. The original canal treaty states tolls must be just reasonable and equitable, with no discrimination against any nation. While Panama adheres to non-discrimination requirements, their profit maximization approach raises questions about meeting the just and reasonable standard. When a global shipping choke point operates with a 70% profit margin and implements auction systems during scarcity, it's worth questioning whether this fulfills the spirit of the original agreement. Shipping companies effectively have no choice but to pay whatever Panama demands. So while Trump's specific claim about American ships facing discriminatory pricing is inaccurate, his broader economic critique highlights a genuine tension. Panama has transformed what was designed as a fair global utility into a highly profitable enterprise, leveraging its geographic monopoly to extract maximum revenue from international shipping. The China factor: strategic control and national security. The economic calculation behind the Panama Canal's toll structure may be concerning, but an even more contentious issue lies beneath the surface. Since 1997, a Hong Kong-based company has controlled the strategic ports at each end of this crucial waterway, a fact that has increasingly alarmed U.S. security officials as tensions with China have escalated. CK Hutchison Holdings has operated both the Balboa port on the Pacific side and the Cristobal port on the Atlantic side for over 25 years. These facilities are critical choke points where ships enter and exit, where cargo is loaded and unloaded, and where the coordination of vessel traffic occurs. This operational control gives the company significant influence over the flow of maritime commerce through one of the world's most important trade arteries. Just as a nation wouldn't surrender control of its borders, the strategic implications of foreign influence over these vital maritime gateways raises serious economic and security concerns for American interests. What heightens these concerns is China's legal framework regarding private companies. Under Chinese law, corporations must cooperate with government requests related to national security. We've seen similar dynamics play out with Chinese technology companies in other contexts, raising legitimate questions about potential interference. Beijing could technically compel CK Hutchison to provide intelligence or potentially interfere with operations in ways that might compromise American interests. The situation intensified in 2017 when Panama made a significant diplomatic shift, severing ties with Taiwan and formally recognizing the People's Republic of China. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of surging Chinese investment in Panama, establishing a powerful economic presence in the region that has only deepened American concerns about strategic vulnerabilities. The Panama Canal serves as a vital conduit for American commerce and military mobility. U.S. vessels, including naval ships and carriers of liquefied natural gas exports, rely heavily on unfettered access to this waterway. Any potential disruption or intelligence-gathering operation could seriously impact American security interests. While C.K. Hutchison operates the ports, the company cannot actually block access to the canal itself. The Panama Canal remains under Panamanian government control, with operations managed exclusively by Panamanian employees. Nevertheless, during a February visit to Panama, Secretary of State Marco Rubio explicitly pressed the Panamanian government on this issue. His message was clear: reduce Chinese influence over the canal or potentially face U.S. retaliation, underscoring Washington's view of the strategic implications. The situation appears to be changing. A March 2025 deal involving BlackRock and international partners aims to purchase C.K. Hutchison's stake in the Panama Ports Company. This $22.8 billion transaction would transfer control of 90% of the company to a consortium including BlackRock, Global Infrastructure Partners, and Terminal Investment Limited, encompassing 43 ports across 23 countries. The historical argument: treaties, sovereignty, and American sacrifice. Beyond the commercial transactions and strategic concerns lies a haunting question about American sacrifice. Trump's claim that 38,000 Americans died building the Panama Canal paints a picture of enormous national sacrifice, but the historical record tells a dramatically different story. In reality, approximately 500 to 600 Americans lost their lives during construction, alongside roughly 5,000 workers from Caribbean nations who bore the brunt of the dangerous labor under harsh tropical conditions. This disparity between rhetoric and reality reflects historical simplification surrounding the canal's complex legacy. The waterway's transfer resulted from decades of tension and negotiations that began long before the Carter administration. The turning point came during January 1964, when anti-American riots erupted in Panama. These confrontations left approximately 20 Panamanians dead and marked a decisive shift in U.S. Panama relations. Among them was Ascanio Orozmena, a 20-year-old student killed while helping evacuate wounded protesters, becoming a symbol of Panamanian resistance. The violence stemmed from deep-seated resentment over what many viewed as colonial exploitation, a separate zone cutting through their country where Americans enjoyed privileges and higher wages, while local citizens were excluded from meaningful participation. In the aftermath, diplomatic relations between the nations temporarily severed. The message was clear: the status quo was unsustainable. This realization transcended partisan politics in Washington. The process of renegotiating canal treaties garnered support across multiple administrations. President Nixon acknowledged the need for a more equitable agreement with Panama. Later, President Ford emphasized that the United States should not confront the world over the canal issue, recognizing the colonial perception associated with American control. This bipartisan recognition reflected that maintaining control against growing Panamanian nationalism would be costlier than negotiating a peaceful transition. The 1977 treaties signed by President Carter established a framework for gradual transfer, creating a period of joint control until 1999, when Panama would assume full sovereignty. These agreements declared the canal neutral while explicitly stating that the United States would no longer intervene in Panama's internal affairs. Since gaining control, Panama has invested billions in modernization, including a massive expansion completed in 2016 that increased the canal's capacity for larger ships. This transformation has enhanced the waterway's role in global trade, while becoming a source of national pride and economic independence. For those suggesting America should take back the canal, a sobering reality emerges: there is no legal provision allowing this reclamation. Military force would be the only path to reasserting American authority, an option that would devastate U.S.-Latin American relations and contradict decades of diplomatic precedent. The evolution from 1903 to 1999 represents a transition from colonial-era practices toward international partnership, acknowledging both Panama's sovereignty and changing global politics. Through our analysis, we've seen Trump's reclaim the canal rhetoric interweave economic grievances, strategic anxieties about Chinese influence, and historical narratives into a cohesive America First position. However, the reality manifested not in territorial control, but in commercial influence through the BlackRock Consortium deal. This layered reasoning frames Panama's unequivocal response. President José Raúl Mulino declared firmly, "The Panama Canal is not in the process of being reclaimed. The canal is Panamanian and will continue to be Panamanian." His assertion that the sovereignty and independence of Panama are not negotiable highlights the diplomatic sensitivities that aggressive posturing provokes. As global powers continue to navigate the waters of influence, will this maritime gateway remain a symbol of sovereignty or become a flashpoint in a changing world order? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and like us to stay informed about our content.